All month long, we've been focusing on the great work they're doing up the hill at Niagara Children's Center during their Help Kids Shine campaign. And we've been speaking to some of the young people that are going to the Children's Center. We spoke to some of the former young people that have grown into adults about their experience. We've spoken to caregivers, and we've also spoken to parents. And Matt Siscoe is both a parent but also a member of the board of directors at the Niagara Children's Center and joins us once again on 610. Good day, Matt.
Good day to you, Kevin.
Niagara Children's Center, I mean, you're on the board. You're also a father of children who go to the Children's Center. What services does your family receive from the Children's Center?
Well, specifically to us, one of my sons was in for speech and language. He had a lot of difficulties with his speech when he came to us when he was 2.5 years old, and so we brought him up there to work on that. And then my youngest son actually has very severe autism, and so the Children's Center was sort of the entry point into the system of social services for Darius, and he's gone on now to Bethesda, who's in charge of the autism services in Niagara. But he started at the Children's Center and did some occupational therapy. And then we also, my youngest, my daughter, we had some concerns about her speech and language development, so we brought her up to have her assessed, and she's right where she should be. So we've used a bunch of different services at the center and for a couple of our kids.
And you know what? One of my children, my son, got assessed as well at the Children's Center on the doctor's recommendation, and we love the Children's Center, of course, through the radio station's involvement. I know all the work that they do up there, and for my wife and I, it was an absolute no-brainer. Sure, it's almost like we should have asked to go to the Children's Center. Sure, you want to send us up there? We love the work that they do there, and we trust everybody there so much that, yeah, please assess my child. It's a good thing.
Well, and this is exactly the thing. We've just finished up our strategic planning as a board for the next 5 years. And one of the main goals, one of the things we're really trying to do is make sure that the community understands what services are available through the Children's Center and how they go about accessing them. Because in a lot of cases, a lot of people have a very similar reaction to yours. Had I known that this existed, I would have been pushing for this. But until you need the services, we find a lot of people just aren't aware of the good work that's going on at the center. So it's something that I'm working hard as a board member, and the whole board really is committed to trying to get our message out there.
Well, let's talk a little bit about that, Matt, about all the different services. I mean, speech therapy and autistic children are a little more commonplace, and people are familiar with those services inherently, but the Children's Center does so much more for real specific individuals.
Oh, for sure. I mean, if you look at the physiotherapy services, the occupational therapy services, I mean, these are really, when we talk about the Children's Center, the staff at the Children's Center are able to interface with families. They're able to interface with other services. They're able to take a lead role in making sure that whatever services are required for your child, and we have a number of very complex cases that come through the center on a yearly basis where our staff are dialoguing with multiple specialists to make sure that the plan that's put in place for the child is what is going to help them meet their highest potential. And that's really, that's our mission, is to try and make sure that the kids, and when I say kids, I mean youth, the whole range of youth, but they're able to meet whatever their maximum potential is through the services at the center. That's what the center's there to do, and our staff are phenomenal at it.
Yeah, as a parent with a young family, and we're pretty much in the same kind of a stage in life, Matt, where we've got young children, and knowing that the Children's Center is there is so reassuring to me, because if you're ever born with a child that is dealing with a complication that is rare, you hear these, 0.0001% of the population is afflicted with this, and you know nothing about it as a parent, it's brand new to you, and you know in the back of your mind that there's somewhere to turn, and they know. I mean, you talk to anybody in your life, what's that? You walk into the Children's Center, yeah, we know about that, come this way.
Well, and that's exactly it. I'm a teacher by day, and so I like to think I know a lot about education and how to educate children. But when my second son came to us, he was 2.5 years old, and his speech ability was limited, basically non-existent. There was one word, one sound he could make. And at the time, we were really concerned, what sort of delays in his overall educational picture is this going to create for him as he goes forward? And, we went to the Children's Center, we had him assessed, we were put into the system, and over the course of a year, his language skills developed incredibly exponentially. I mean, I look at him now as a 7.5-year-old who's fluent in 2 languages, and I just think, had I not had access to that, had I not had the opportunity to get him into the Children's Center, would he be at this level now? Obviously not. And that's the thing. You know, the Children's Center is really there for kids that have any sort of developmental issues where they need, speech and language or physiotherapy or occupational therapy, whatever it is. The Children's Center is there to help them accelerate up to that point of their maximum potential. And I hear these stories on a daily basis, and that's part of the reason why I decided to get involved with the board of directors a couple of years ago, because more people in the community need to know about these services. They need to know to ask. And I think that's really what it comes down to, is they need to know to ask their doctors and specialists that they're seeing for referrals, because the Children's Center can help in so many different ways. And
the Children's Center can help more people in more ways if there's more funding. Why should people reach out to the Children's Center and donate as part of the Help Kids Shine campaign?
Well, and you hit the nail right on the head. I mean, on a yearly basis, the Children's Center is going above and beyond and seeing more cases than the government funding allows for. It's one of the unfortunate realities of our healthcare system, is that there are lots of areas of need, and the government's only able to fund what it does. By making a donation to the Children's Center, you're allowing the center to reach out to more people. As we went through our strategic planning process, families have lots of incredible ideas for ways to improve the service. The only limiting factor really is ensuring fiscal sustainability, making sure that we're not spending more than we bring in. And so every dollar that our development office is able to raise is able to go towards doing more for the community. There are so many kids that are in need. We're only seeing a fraction of them by virtue of the fact that a lot of people don't realize, but we want to see all of them. And to do that, the dollars are really important to come in. And so the work that you folks at 610 do is just absolutely phenomenal, and I know I can speak for all of my colleagues on the board when I say thank you for all of the work you do on a year-in, year-out basis, because 610 has been an incredible partner to the Children's Center.
Well, we very much appreciate that, and it's funny because I was just about to talk about all the incredible people and the incredible work that they do at the Children's Center. I don't know, Matt, that I've ever been involved in an institution, be it educational or in the health field, where everybody is really invested in their patients and their families and are looking out for their well-being. I mean, truly invested in their core, in their hearts. And it's to a man, to a woman at the Children's Center. I really mean that.
Oh, 100%. As a board member, every month we have different staff members from different departments come forward with different cases to educate the board. These are the things that we're doing in speech and language. These are the things we're doing in rehabilitative services. And we'll speak to families, and we get to meet the kids. And, I mean, probably the most rewarding part of every board meeting is that educational component at the beginning, because we get to see the real-world effects and the real-world possibilities that exist for these kids because they've been able to access the services. And we also get to interact with the staff up there, and, I mean, second to none in this province. Now, I know, Niagara Children's Center is looked at with a lot of kudos and plaudits whenever we go to provincial and national meetings, because our staff are phenomenal. And yeah. I could never say enough about the people that work at the Children's Center, both from a personal standpoint, from a board standpoint, from a community standpoint. They're incredible.
Well, I know that we could just go on and on. We can never say enough good things about Niagara Children's Center, but unfortunately, the show must go on, Matt. So in lieu of continuing to talk, I would encourage people to go online to NiagaraChildren'sCenter.com and support them in any way possible. I like to dub it as the insurance policy on your family's well-being, because it may not be your family, but if you raise an extended family in Niagara, it'll be your cousin, it'll be your next-door neighbor, it'll be your city councilor, Matt Siscoe, whose family needs that help. And when they need it, we need to know that the help's available and the funding's there. So NiagaraChildren'sCenter.com. Matt, thanks so much. Happy birthday to your wife, belated, and all the best to the family. Have a great long weekend.
Thanks so much, Kevin. It was great to talk to you today.
Yeah, great to chat as well. Matt Siscoe, St. Catharines City Councilor, board member at Niagara Children's Center, and also a father of children who receive services at the Children's Center. If you've never been there, don't know what it is, it's right across from Brock University, just up the hill. Right across from Brock University, right next to Shaver, right there. Children's Center doing incredible things in a rather nondescript building.